Hey class. So this week we have already been learning about boomtowns and the gold rush and basically going out west. We have heard of sayings such as Pikes Peak or bust, with the bust meaning, kind of ending, not doing well. That saying actually comes from a card game that they played at this time period. So they would say, Pikes Peak or bust, or the boomtowns are no longer popular. They've busted. That's what they would say. So that's where we are right now is boomtowns, the gold rush, talking about things out west. The boomtowns really started whenever people would go out west trying to find different minerals, and these towns would pop up immediately for different reasons. They would have shops, they would have saloons, different places where people could go and gather and talk and socialize, places for them to stay, places for them to buy supplies, all different kinds of. So once people found gold, it really encouraged people and it made people excited to want to go out west and try to find gold for themselves. They wanted to strike it rich. We know that mining for gold is not actually as easy as, just going out there and digging dirt and trying to find gold. So they would search for gold, find it, really what they could find at the top from sifting and doing different things. And once they had pretty much gotten all of the gold that they could get like that off the surface, these new inventions, new technologies came about, such as hydraulic mining. And this is where they use water and they kind of force the dirt and different things off so they can find the gold or the different minerals that are underneath it. It's a really good strategy to find gold or other minerals, and they did this a lot. But the big problem with hydraulic mining is that it leads to environmental issues. And so just for instance, dirt and sand and rocks from the hydraulic mining were ending up in local bodies of water, and so it was affecting those water sources, and that was not a good thing. So Congress actually had to pass a law to prevent that from, or they had to make different regulations on that. They didn't say they couldn't, mine with using hydraulic mining. They just had to have a place to store the deposits once they mined those materials. So they couldn't just let the sand and the dirt and the rocks go off into the environment. They had to have a place to store those. We have a lot of policies like that with different things. With the Environmental Protection Agency, they have different things in place to make sure that our environment is protected. So I think that's it for this lesson. We also talked about why people would risk going out west when we know it is such a big risk to take. You have to deal with different groups of people, wild animals. It's not as developed, not as settled, and the likelihood of you finding gold or other minerals is very small. But these people wanted to take the risk. It was exciting. They had heard stories about it, and they wanted to be a part of the excitement. So it was worth it to them for them to take that risk. And then also one other thing is the town of Tombstone. I'm sure some of you have heard of that. Maybe your parents like to watch the old Western movies and shows about Tombstone. That's going to become very famous, Tombstone, Arizona, because of the lawlessness that is in that city. This is an environment where people, there's just not a lot of rules, a lot of structure, and so people run wild, and it's very famous. They've made a lot of movies about it, and then Wyatt Earp is going to be really famous for, coming in and bringing law and order to the place. So I'm sure some of you have heard that. If you haven't, maybe ask your parents. They probably like to watch those, maybe your grandparents. Anyways, okay, stay tuned to learn about cattle ranching and farming.